The abnormal people stay there and they run things, and they pretend to be like Bill and Hill Clinton, like they're married and stuff, and they have this whole other thing going on in multiplicity of partners and people and feedings and rituals and covens and witchcraft and magic and sorcery and evil and war and pain and suffering and all that they cause in order to boost themselves and feel real good about who they are. Yeah. So when I see them, I know exactly what I'm looking at. Murderous, hostile spirits within these people. Why is sex with children the most important thing to them? That's like that, and the death of babies is like the two things they love. So then I knew there was a mind link between them all. That was explained later by Jonathan Kleck as being the all-seeing eye in people, because that thing is in all people from the genetic manipulation that occurred called the fall of man. And that is how they're able to police this whole thing through the all-seeing eye. Finishing of the genetic manipulation, which is the resident being that would take over your body and over your mind. That would be, in a sense, this whole world is the breaking through the other side and being cool means allowing yourself to be possessed by these beings, or this collective being that is got everyone else, so that you're nod, wink, wink, cool with everybody. Most people don't think this far, They just know that if they allow these people to control them, and they bow down, and they allow themselves to be broken by them, and then abused and used and trauma-based mind controlled by them, there's a chance they'll get one of those beings in them, and if they do, then they get to be somebody. The rest just get to be servants, but the servants protect the secret, and it's all a big hive and a big web, because they all have that all-seeing eye. They're all connected with a hive mind, and they can't get out of it. It's sex, it's behavior, it's having one of those beings in you so that you can be connected, so you can see what to do and when to do it in coordination with the rest of them. And that's really more to the point, rather than an act of sex for an initiation rite or something like that. That doesn't get it done, So they are fit extensions for the fallen angels, demons, the pantheon of spirits, and they're doing what they were made to do and not resisting, but there's no longer someone in there or a living soul there to be redeemed. And that's really the way I liken a twice-death experience. How many people say, well, they had this person, that they changed, and then it's like they're dead inside, their eyes are dead, and they are animated when those spirits take over, and then they jump around and move around, but that's the only time they do. And they practice satanic rituals, satanic ritual abuse, pedophilia, gun running, drug running, war running, political fixes, When you sign on with the witchcraft, when you sign on with the appeasing the gods, meaning the fallen angels, but you're appeasing the gods, you want the gods to honor you, you're basically agreeing to destroy humanity and boost yourself. Kill your child in order to boost your career forever. How many of them would kill their firstborn for money? Well, they all had to. Oh, they can make him commit suicide. That counts. Just gang stalk him until he realizes he's on the set of Rosemary's Baby, and he goes ahead and jumps off a building. That happens. And they still get credit. The whole thing was based on blood. The sex is just to raise the power, of the ritual. The dancing, like the voodoo dancing and that kind of thing, to get possessed. But blood is required to get it going. And then if there's a sexual dance kind of thing that happens, fine. But it's all, it's without the blood, you don't have anything. I guess I should have started off with this. Protection against black magic. That is, if they spill blood against you, here's how it can work. They take something of yours, they kill a child, and put something of yours in the circle to curse you, and they take the power of that blood against you for your life. Life for life. You understand now? say internationally, among nations, that when they get into these wars like Iran, they're going to spill a certain amount of blood, and they're going to dedicate that blood to the gods in order to then prosper on the other side of World War III. And that's what they do. You got Ahmadinejad, Obama. Obama's a big-time voodoo player from, with African heritage. Perfect. You get Obama, you get, and the rest of the club, and they all meet behind closed doors like Iran's been meeting with the Pentagon in order to set up the fake World War III, where they just nuke American cities and say, look, Iran, Russia's doing it. When Putin's there, they're all there. And they do their rituals and sacrifices, and then they go and then they pretend to be the leaders of countries, and then you sit there like you think it's the USA against Iran, or Russia, or China. It's nothing like that. Just this image. Let me leave you with this. Picture Ahmadinejad and Obama and Clinton and Bush and the Bushes and whoever else is alive from the old days, and the new batch of people sitting around at a ritual in let's say it's in some secret location where there's drums being beaten and fire going and people dressed up in robes and stuff, and there they all are. And the next one who wants to be famous brings his bound child to the circle where all the leaders are. And this is to stoke up the power, and basically guts his own kid in front of them, and then becomes the next president of the United States. You understand? Or something else. In other words, they sell out their own people. They sacrifice, like Obama wants to sacrifice the USA to boost himself and his wife and his children so they can have, a lavish lifestyle. Well, the devil will give it to you, but he requires blood. You got to do something for him. You got to do it amongst them. You got to find out who they are and serve them, and then do something in the midst of them to appease that God. And then you too can have your security and fame and fortune. Now, is there any exception to that? I'll look at a guy like Mitt Romney, and I'll look at a guy like John Huntsman. I'll look at Glenn Beck. I go, you think they would ever? How is it that Glenn Beck got his hands on $50 million or $100 million? How did he do that? He talks about God and, oh, don't worry. He's done something. He may not even be aware of it, but something had to be done, or something done for him that he's not aware of. There's also that, where the rock star is still asleep. He doesn't know that a sacrifice has been done in his name that boosted him. He thinks he's as pure and innocent as the driven snow. And yet, he is cursed because Satan owns him. He may even be a Christian artist. Could something have been done in his honor, spilling blood to Satan to boost him? Even though he may not be none the wiser. Well, that couldn't completely be true because he would have to be in a Masonic brotherhood, some kind of a thing like that, in order to sustain that level of success. Now, I know that's a hard reality to swallow. I know that's a harsh, rude awakening to think that's the way it really is. And that, the worst is that these people are psychopaths because behind the scenes they're all high-fiving each other, like Ahmadinejad hanging out with Obama and all the rest of them. Netanyahu's in there, and, they're all sitting there at a bacchanalia. Maybe they're all having sex with each other. Would that disturb you? Or worse, having sex with children, maybe killing a couple of them in order to boost their political fortunes. Would that disturb you if you saw that on video? Because then they go on and do these charities, and everyone says, oh, they're a great person. But then when they get in a ritual and they get to kill somebody, they make fun and degrade them and then stab them and dismember them and eat them and laugh at what a sorry loser they are. This is This makes them, and so when I see world leaders and stuff, I automatically see them in that light. All I have to do is cut to the coven meeting when they have their sacrifices and all. That's all I have to do. Or they take glee over abortion, or the snuff film industry. They have a private. I've kind of explained this years and years ago. They'll have like a plane crash, and then they'll have the video feed of what's going on in the plane as people are taking 3-4 minutes to die and freaking out and all that. And then they have an orgy, and they'll play that film and other films, things like that, because they can't get off unless they have violence and death and murder and blood and dismemberment. And that's what it takes for them to get off. And they being a hive mind, the orgy is more the kind of sex they like. They have to have it with multiple people because it's a hive mind. They're more like insects. No, with me, it was like early on in life, I saw how evil they were. And then God puts you back together and causes you integration. But you can't integrate until you can handle. You can't integrate multiple. Look, on their side, they all have multiple personalities. Pretty much, I've never met anyone that wasn't at least double-minded, where they could switch into something else and then switch back. At least I saw that. That's 100% of them. 100%. There is no exception. Who are just connected and just made things. World was their oyster, yeah. These won't get the worst of it. The worst of it is reserved for the pastors of the Babylon church that they put the name of Jesus Christ on. That will be the worst of all punishments. And they will not only be as if they have never been upon the earth, but they actually, in their arrogance and narcissism, and I've heard them, and some of these guys, their wives that are Jezebels, and they control them. They get up there on the, right, they're compromised, right? Probably pedophilia, probably murder or something. And so the wife is like the puppet master. I've seen this every single church I've been to. Same thing, Jezebel wife behind every pastor, controlling him because he's compromised. So, but she totally controls him, and and is part of the Sisterhood, and the Sisterhood controls all these guys. But from a secular perspective, they try to explain about all the world leaders being compromised. But that's true. They all have to have something on them, and it's always the Sisterhood, that are controlling them. It's not like the men rule the world at all. It's the women that do. But they stay behind the scenes, and they make it look like they're just light little women. But no, it's their Sisterhood. They know they're compromised. It's being orchestrated from another source, not God. But God has got still control of it. But it's obviously controlling it. But it's being the authority and the police, like the band, the police. The police, the all-seeing eye is the police. Because they are ubiquitous and they're, the mass population. God will avenge you on her. Her being Babylon. Mystery Babylon is the mystery is the grip, the iron grip. The mystery of Babylon it's the world system. That's the mystery of it. And it's a spiritual hierarchy that is regimented, highly technological, and highly controlled. These people have just really become, in a way, machines. You're seen. Oh, no, I know in the world they pat you on the back as wise, but that's all TV programming. You don't understand. You're on the Truman Show. They're paid to pat you on the back. Okay? Jesus is the only way out of that situation. The only way that you're split, good versus evil, DNA, sick versus well, that collision of opposites within you that is tethered you to this prison planet, which is really a dream. You're here. And the only way out of here, of this prison, is Christ. Okay? Thank you.